Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This afternoon, I'm going to be reacting to TempleOS, Down the Rabbit Hole, made on the Fredrik Knudsen YouTube channel. And this was a request from John Reed-P7F. Yes. If you guys want to check out my previous reaction to the other Fredrik Knudsen Down the Rabbit Hole videos, remember that the reaction playlist card is going to be at the top right here. If you want to check out the original video as well as Fredrik Knudsen's YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. Okay, let's start with TempleOS, Down the Rabbit Hole. 3, 2, 1, go.
Depending on who is consulted, TempleOS is the outdated product of a deranged mind, the work of a misunderstood genius, or some complicated combination of the two. While the operating system was the result of over a decade of work, its creator, usually referred to as Terry A. Davis, attracted even more interest than the project itself, with his nonsensical, narcissistic, and often offensive rhetoric, including casually inserted slurs.
Okay. This is going to be fun. The operating system there, it doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look appealing, but maybe to computer experts and those who know how to create programs, maybe to them that looks beautiful, but to a consumer like me, I don't know if that looks appealing. It looks very dated. Yeah.
And so, many people defend both him and his project, and feel a particular affection for both. So what is TempleOS, and how did it come to be?
Wow, Reddit. It's not orange. The Reddit I know is, extremely orange. But this is different.
In October of 2008, a Reddit
Oh, no wonder why. 2008.
account named Losethos was created and began posting frequently. Its posts consistently linked to different parts of the website losethos.com, but their titles varied from practical and straightforward, such as a free non-Unix 64-bit OS, to perplexing, such as Godly Song Artificial Intelligence and Belligerent Anti-Atheism Themed Operating System.
Godly Song Artificial Intelligence. Belligerent Anti-Atheism Themed Operating System. Okay.
He would regularly post these to the programming subreddit, where they would either go largely ignored or downvoted, mostly the former. The website was dedicated to the eponymous custom operating system, reminiscent of such from the 80s, offering a list of pages describing it, as well as demonstrative videos and images.
Oof. Guys, what am I looking at here? I'm not a computer expert. I'm a novice. But yeah, this is too much.
Also available was the creator's name on his contact page, Terry A. Davis.
Okay.
The homepage describes the motive behind the project. Quote, Losethos is for programming as entertainment. It empowers programmers with kernel privilege because it's fun. It allows full access to everything because it's fun. It has no bureaucracy because it's fun. It's the way it is by choice because it's fun. Losethos is in no way a Windows or Linux wannabe. That would be pointless.
Okay. It empowers programmers with kernel privilege because it's fun. I don't know about that. That is in the sphere of those who are programmers. Whether it really does give you those privileges, I have no clue. Gives you full access to everything because it's fun. What does that mean? That's very vague. I don't understand what does that mean when you say full access. When, as a consumer, I already have full access to what I need or what I want from my Windows operating system. I don't know. I don't know what more would I want. Yeah. So accessing everything, what does he mean by that? It has no bureaucracy because it's fun. In terms of what, like updating security features, surveillance from Microsoft or Linux. I don't know if Linux does, have any kind of surveillance systems with their operating system. But yeah, okay. It's the way it is by choice because it's fun. Okay. Lose those is no way a Windows or a Linux wannabe. Okay. But what I saw, it doesn't look consumable, to the layman on the street. Maybe to a programmer, you guys can understand what's going on there. But if he wants to sell it to someone like me, it's a no. It's a no. It's a no. But it's fun. He says it's fun.
Much of the rest of the text in the Home section was jargon, but a few things stood out. First, the operating system was written in a customized version of the common programming language C. He admitted the limitations of his creation, saying, quote, "Lusthos was designed from scratch with a clean slate and has no compatibility with anything else." However, he attempted to spin this severe restriction as a
Wait, when he says it has no compatibility with anything else, what does that mean? What does he mean when he says that? It's not compatible with other programs or applications that you want to download from the internet? It's not compatible with I don't know, like a printer or a Wi-Fi modem.
positive thing, saying, "I took every opportunity to improve things once I made a clean break with the past. That's another reason Lusthos has value. It is innovative." Terry mentioned that Lusthos output in 640 by 480 with 16 colors, an incredibly outdated
16 colors? Only 6? Okay. I don't know how is that unique, but okay.
format, but despite its appearance, he stated that the operating system was built to run on modern hardware. Due to
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
to the way the system was structured, it also was incredibly vulnerable to malware, but this was
no, thank you. No.
likely never a concern for Terry, as there was no networking on the OS whatsoever. This
Oh. So this is like a private operating system. You can't access the internet, therefore you can't use other applications, you can't surf the web. It's stuck on this computer and that's it. Okay, maybe for those who want to keep vital information a secret and not having it being hacked, maybe that would be a use for this type of operating system. But for if you want to sell it to the consumer base, I don't know, it's going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult to convince people to get something that does not access the internet. That's very vital.
meant that any system running Lusthos would be unable to communicate with another computer, ruling out internet and LAN functionality entirely. With no printing supported either, anything made on the system would be isolated to that system alone.
Yeah. No, thank you.
To work around this, he recommended using Lusthos in conjunction with another, more common operating system, though the purpose for doing so was questionable at best. Terry also provided what he called songs from God, with lyrics appearing near the top of the screen as the operating system played them.
Okay, can you stop this music if you wanted to, or does it just play? I don't see any option to stop it. Oh gosh.
Under a tab labeled History, Terry shared some of his experiences working as a computer engineer. It opened with, quote, "I find this very crass, but there are lots of chestnuts boasting about in open foyers and have to say this. I have a 1440 SAT and was a National Merit finalist. Fuck yourselves. When you're your own boss, you can do what you like the way you like it, too. I happen to like to have fun when I program. I'm an expert in knowing what is fun about programming, and that's why Luzthos is so awesome. Designed to have fun programming. If you're so smart, tell me what's fun and not fun about programming." Along with photographs.
I'm not so smart. I'm just a regular consumer. And I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I am not impressed. That's why I'm saying maybe programmers, maybe they're impressed with what you've created here, but for me, no. I'm sorry.
Of himself and his work, he explained that he had been employed by Ticketmaster from 1990 to 1996, coding and designing hardware while simultaneously earning an undergraduate degree and a subsequent master's degree in electrical engineering. It was also during this time that he created the basic code that would eventually become Luzthos. After quitting Ticketmaster, he began his own business named Home Automation and Robotic Equipment, or HARE, in order to work on an early consumer-grade milling machine controlled by a PC, a sort of early home 3D printer. In 1997, having apparently halted work on his machine, he took engineering work again, but his personal history ends in 2003, 5 years prior to sharing Luzthos. As of 2008, it was unclear how he was making money. Users on Reddit seemed to regard Luzthos mostly as a curiosity and an odd personal project, and couldn't find any practical purpose for it. One person replied, quote, "Sorry, no network, wireless, etc. is just a waste of time. Times have changed since Apple II." Another person offering constructive criticism stated, quote, "At the moment, it's not clear what you want people to do with it. I think you have a cool project that deserves more interest."
Yeah. Like this person said, it's not clear what he wants anyone to do with this operating system. It's not clear. Everything is fun, apparently. But what does that mean? What does that entail? We don't know.
Good luck. In response, Terry suggested that Luzthos was, quote, "just a place to mess around with programming," but this answered little. He also explained that his operating system was, quote, "a souped-up Commodore 64 basically," but this further confounded its purpose. Terry A. Davis was also active on Reddit in a different way. He would frequently post to the atheism subreddit, declaring the existence of God and entering arguments with the users there, but
why are you doing that? Why not focus on your Luzthos, develop it, make it better, improve its functioning systems, instead of focusing your attention on atheists? What do you want? You want that attention?
These interactions were marked by uncanny paragraphs of apparently random words, common phrases, and excerpts from literature off of Project Gutenberg, preceded by the phrase, "God says." Those comprised of random words and phrases were particularly uncanny, and sometimes he would reply with nothing but these "God says" sections. For example, one reads in part, "God says, confute, exodus, print, propound, resumed, glorify, elect, forgiving, pleasant, itself, equals, long, catch, abject, ofttimes, miracles," etc. However, few people would typically attempt to engage with him, and his comments were downvoted as people refused to reply, despite Terry's apparent need for conflict.
Yeah, I also would not reply to that. Like, what are you saying? Definitely he's looking for attention, which is really unnecessary. It's unnecessary. Focus on your program, on your operating system, and stop looking for trouble.
When he made a post entitled, "Bad News, There is a God," almost nobody responded, and so he began making responses to his own post, continuing to denounce atheists for their non-belief, but these...
Wow. Wow.
These often seem to lose focus partway through. One of these comments reads, quote, "God, they don't want to talk to you. God's good company, you just have to hold up your end of the conversation and try not to be annoying. What is it about computer science people and atheism, huh? Brain equals computer, I imagine. That's what once made me an atheist. Still not too sure about that. I think the answer lies in going beyond the notion of causality as we typically think of it. There can be incredible synchronicity in the world, which makes causality quaint. God says, 'Homo to infinity and beyond, Ivan, don't mention it. Ha, how far, hypocrite. Heads I win, tails you lose. You are my sunshine,' etc."
I have no idea what is he saying.
But Reddit wasn't the only place he was posting. On November 29th, 2008, Terry made a post on the OS dev forums entitled The Lusthos Operating System, using Lusthos as his username there as well. It read, quote, "You might be interested in the Lusthos operating system as a starting point for your own, or for ideas. It's 64-bit and includes a 64-bit compiler/assembler I wrote.
It's 64-bit? I don't know. The way it looked like it, I think maybe 32-bit would be fine, but okay.
It's public domain and open source. I tried to keep it simple and I innovated many things. It supports multi-core. At first, forum users were curious and attempted to run Lusthos on their own systems, but when they ran into difficulties, the creator responded with an air of smug superiority. Quote, "I have no idea what VMware software does and don't care. All I know is it's likely to be slow and you'll struggle with additional constraints. The first thing I did was write an assembler and compiler so I could be independent. It may be too much for you guys."
You want people to have this OS, but you don't want to help them install the OS on their computers. You're defeating the purpose of you wanting to spread Lusthos to the world. Terry, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want people to appreciate your work? Do you want your work to be, to be known by all computer programmers? Do you want them to have fun, like how you are having fun? If so, help those who want to operate or install the operating system on their computers.
In this thread, he claimed that Lusthos had attracted significant attention on Reddit only a few days prior, netting 50,000 page visits on his website and 500 downloads, but it appears that even if this was the case, the post is now lost. The responses to these posts were universally negative, with people expressing frustration with his elitism, and this fighting attracted the attention of the moderators, who locked the thread the same day it was posted. Between November 29th of 2008 and January 19th of 2009, Terry would post frequently to the OS dev boards, mentioning his operating system as much as he could and portraying his skill and his work as being above the other members.
You are spamming. This is spam. and you're going to be kicked out. You are going to be kicked out.
However, there would occasionally be strange digressions in his writing. In response to apparently nobody in particular, he wrote, "Yeah, but he said the resolution wasn't supposed to be permanent, after I made a promise, and you have to keep your word."
Who's he?
Sucks. Who he was unclear, but the capitalization of he suggests he was speaking of God. Another post read, "Mental hospitals suck, but disability checks are cool. Guys from Metallica seem to know about mental health." However, he was eventually banned either on or after January 19th, as no posts exist on the account after this time. In February of 2009, 4 months after he began sharing Lusthos with the internet, Terry accelerated his posts on Reddit. As he became a familiar figure in the programming subreddit, a few people began replying and engaging with him, attempting to learn not only about the operating system, but also about Terry himself. Some were impressed at the ability of Terry to construct an operating system all on his own, while others dismissed Lusthos as outdated and useless. Similarly, while some people had their curiosity piqued, others were beginning to lose patience after months of his repetitive posts. One person wrote, quote, "Hey mate, I like your project, it seems like you're having fun and I don't really care that it doesn't have networking or it's just your toy OS. Having said that, please don't fill up the programming subreddit with every single update. If we're interested, we'll watch your page." Eventually, his posts to the programming subreddit...
That's very cordial and kind, and hopefully he responds to that person in the same manner. But I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. He's not going to respond the same way that he's been, given this positive message.
Halted, perhaps because he'd been restricted from doing so, but by April of 2009, he had begun advertising Lusthos in comments instead. These comments, however, were easily recognized as attempts at advertisement and largely dismissed. Terry would also begin regularly posting to Hacker News, a website similar to Reddit hosted on the Y Combinator website, duplicating his posts in order to gain more attention.
Oh my gosh. They're gonna kick you out here too.
However, the moderators would inevitably remove them, likely because they viewed Terry's repeated links to the Lusthos site as spam.
Exactly.
As on Reddit, Terry would also comment on other people's posts, extolling the virtues of Lusthos and attempting to turn discussion towards it.
I mean, look, why doesn't he advertise this operating system on Facebook or YouTube? Yeah, YouTube. Yeah, it existed around 2008. So yeah, why not there? Post an example of your operating system on YouTube and let's see if people are interested in it. Or do it on Facebook. Wait, Facebook, yeah, 2004. Yeah. So it was here, 2008, definitely. Facebook was around. So yeah, why not advertise your OS system there, and you can spam as many times as you want, and let's see if people are interested in downloading and operating this OS, instead of irritating other people on Reddit, the subreddits and other websites. Yeah. And also leave the atheists alone. Focus on your work.
By this point, it appeared that Terry's patience was diminishing. When someone criticized him for wasting his talent, he replied, quote, "You guys are all pathetic. You look at the graphics and conclude it's not advanced. Be honest, if I had made a pretty picture, disgusted with you apes. The same sort who said in 1900 everything has been invented. You're probably Linux cultists."
Look, visual representation is important, especially as a consumer. I don't just buy something that I do not recognize to be, of a good quality. I would want to spend my money, I would want to spend my time on something, or should I say a product that looks like it has value to it. And if your operating system does not appeal to anyone, then you have to take that criticism to heart. You have to apply by updating the operating system, making it look presentable, better, user interface for it, and people will come. Use this opportunity as a learning curve. It's fun for you, but it's not fun for the rest of us. It's not. It doesn't look appealing.
End quote. Terry would continue to post on Reddit and Hacker News in the following months as updates were applied to Lusthos, but as 2009 wore on, people began to notice idiosyncrasies in Terry's writings. In one case, a person pointed out that he had ostensibly chosen his extremely limited resolution and colors because he had promised God that he would do so, contradicting a statement from him made earlier that it had been a technical decision. Another person noted with amusement that one of the selling points of Lusthos was Bible and hymns. In November, he would also begin posting about updates in his own subreddit dedicated to the operating system, but these gained far less attention than his posts on the programming subreddit, with nearly nobody commenting, posting, or voting on it besides Terry himself.
Why does he call it Lusthos? Why Lusthos?
Turn of the year, Terry apparently abandoned Reddit altogether without a single new post after December 31st, 2009. By June of 2010, the account had been deleted altogether, and he instead began posting as trivial solutions in a similar way, though the content had begun to grow even more aggressive and offensive. He would also attempt to advertise on the programming subreddit under an account transparently created by Terry for the sole purpose of pretending to be someone else advertising Lusthos. Like his other attempts, it would go ignored. Terry also continued to post to Hacker News throughout the entirety of 2010 to no effect, as his account was shadow banned, only able to be seen if a user had enabled the ability to see dead posts. Attempting to circumvent his ban on the OS dev forums, he created another account, also under the name Trivial Solutions, but he was easily discovered and banned again less than 12 hours later. Despite his lack of desired outreach, he would still create new demo videos of his operating system, where people online would be able to hear his voice for the first time.
I wrote this over the past 7 years full time, and I did a compiler, an assembler, an editor, a graphics library, and it's all 64-bit.
Perhaps recognizing his failure through his other channels, he created a Twitter account in September of 2010.
Oh yeah, you could do that too, to spread Lusthos to the rest of the world. Yeah, okay.
Where he would occasionally tweet updates he'd made to the source code.
Wow. This is taking me back, how Twitter used to look like. With the share arrow, the retweet icon, and then the favorite star. Yeah, okay, wow. And the 3 dots for the other options.
However, with little way for people to discover him, these tweets went ignored entirely. His constant attempts to attract attention would continue through the rest of the year, but they would slow and eventually halt in the first half of 2011. But just as he appeared to be losing hope, he would gain newfound interest, though not the kind he desired. On July 15th, 2011, a user going by Jimford posted a thread on the Something Awful forums entitled Lusthos, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bong. One of the opening paragraphs reads, quote, "Gentlemen, I present to you Lusthos. The very definition of your OS is a piece of shit. The operating system is, without a shadow of a doubt, a piece of shit. Behold, a tale of misery far beyond reading Tom Collins's posts. I give you the afternoon of my day off in screenshot format."
Oh gosh.
Beneath this, Jimford detailed his account of his time running TempleOS through a virtual machine, using numerous screen captures while describing his process. After 3 attempts to begin the installation, he was able to reach the install screen. He stated, quote, "During this period, everything in sight was blinking. Lesser men would have had a seizure from the install screen alone."
I think that might be me. Yeah, oof.
"After I finally gave up, I felt as though I had one." After the installation, he shared the initial user experience, stating, "The strange V thing was rotating and everything that is highlighted was flashing incessantly. I was then greeted with the most horrifyingly ugly thing I had yet seen, even worse than Linux. After closing the
What are those things? What are those images? Jukebox, organ, vocab, span, timeout. Are those war game? Okay.
Tip of the day window, I was apparently sent to my home screen. There didn't appear to be anything other than a bunch of homegrown, unplayable games. The only options in the user main menu were games. All of them horrible."
Oh gosh.
Much of his experience was spent fumbling, as he did not know any commands until he finally discovered what appeared to be a tutorial, which helped little. After returning to the home screen, he clicked on hypertext that opened a window that gave, among other things, Terry's home address in Las Vegas and a more...
Terry, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Do you want people to attack you in your own home? Do you want them to, what's that word again? Dox? Do you want them to dox you? Terry.
Detailed history of the operating system. Terry had written, quote, "I've been working on Luzthos full-time for 8.0 years. Yes, I wrote every one of the 129,486 lines myself. No GPL code, no linkage or dependence on other code. I am a for-profit company, not welcoming code contributions."
For-profit? This company, no. No. No one's gonna spend money on this. No one.
But feedback is very welcome. Technically,
It's not welcome. You fight against those who give you feedback.
started Luzthos in about 1993. I set it aside until 2003 when I resurrected it and worked full-time, seriously on it. Eventually, Jimford attempted to perform some coding in Luzthos. Quote, "Turned out the C+ thing this dude wrote was as much of an abortion as the OS itself. I decided to go to the Luzthos website, attempting to garner a clue as to what was going on. Further confusion. Only RMS could beat this guy in bullshit long-windedness. Not only is this operating system a piece of shit, but so is his so-called custom programming language."
See ya later. See ya later what? I'm not sure what that word is at the bottom there, but okay.
Eventually, I got it down enough to make something useful out of it. While Luzthos had already become an in-joke among programmers online, this forum post made it much more accessible to others with less programming knowledge. It's likely that Terry was aware of this thread, as only a day after Jimford's post, he made his own on Something Awful, complaining about a ban he had received on the OS dev forums. However, the members of the Something Awful forums were not sympathetic, and Terry was eventually banned from the Something Awful forums as well. With his usual outlets either barred from him or ignoring him, Terry would lose most of his online audience even as new people were discovering Luzthos, but this would coincide with a drastic deterioration of Terry's coherency that would attract gawkers of a new and much more numerous kind.
Oh no. Is it going to be similar to, what was his name again? Oh no, I forgot his name. Gene Ray. Yes, is it going to be similar to TimeCube, Gene Ray? You know, where people are going to be following Terry because of the way he speaks or what he speaks about, especially with this, you know, focus on God and you know how he's fighting against atheists. Are people going to be entertained by that, and they're going to be following him because of that? I wonder. I think it's going to be something similar to Gene Ray, how people were also just following Gene Ray as he was talking about TimeCube, and they just saw it as a joke. You know, they were less interested in TimeCube and just hearing what Gene Ray had to say about TimeCube. Yeah, he was an entertainment, a source of entertainment for some people. So I think something similar is going to be happening here with Terry, where people are not really interested in the operating system, but they are interested in hearing what Terry says surrounding the operating system or about atheists. Yeah.
Throughout 2011, Terry had continued to post fruitlessly on Hacker News with his familiar rhetoric, combined with his strange messages from God. Small details about his life would emerge, such as the fact that he lived with his parents and that he was seeing shrinks, but as the year was nearing its end, his online activity took on a drastically different tone. This change was first apparent on Twitter on October 20th and 21st,
CIA fucks with me. With me. Okay. I have Terry Davis level 1 to 4. Okay. We'll settle in God's court. I hate the CIA. They operate by blackmail. They are scum. They got the Saudi king by short hairs. Oh, okay. What is level 1 for directories? So what's that? I'm not sure what that is. But yeah, I'm not sure what Terry is talking about here.
2011, Terry posted a series of 4 tweets denouncing the American Central Intelligence Agency. It opened with, quote, "I hate the CIA. They operate by blackmail. They are scum. They got the Saudi king by short hairs." A few months later, in December, he would tweet again, saying, quote, "Kill CIA people. Hit them with cars and run. They are scum." He then implied that he had done just that, killing what he called a doppelganger.
Shrinks employ actors. They have a Facebook and they pick people. FBI employs actors. They did a doppelganger. Okay. Alright. Oof.
2 months later, he further specified whom he claimed to have killed. Quote, "There's crazy actors/agents who fuck with me. My parents are enemies. I killed one in 1999. Nah. Score is 1 nuttin', except you crushed my nuts. God says, horse sung, accents, revenge, wholesome deservings, marrow, funding necessities."
I don't understand. I don't understand. What is he talking about? I don't understand. What is it that he hates about the CIA, really? I'm not entirely sure I understand what's going on here. And also the FBI, like, I don't understand.
His posts on Hacker News also began to take on this fear and anger towards the CIA, believing psychotherapists were CIA agents using doppelgangers to control people's actions, but Terry would soon begin to include racial beliefs in his writings. On
Oh no, here we go.
January 14th, 2012, he wrote a comment on Hacker News that read in part,
He's using the N-word. Ugh.
quote, "Little kiddies, you might regret freeloading when justice smacks you as you try to make money on a blog or software in later years."
Not just once, but 3 times. Huh. I guess he likes the word.
God is just. I win 10 lotteries a day. I'm not at all worried about justice. Niggers. Not at all worried about public opinion. Everything is shrink actors. Evil British agents and shit who have no regard for God. Once I said the difference between niggers and white people is niggers don't know the world is just. His usage of the word would steadily increase through the months of 2012.
Indian and... Hey.
But rather than grow annoyed with him, people online would instead begin to pity him. On August 12th, 2012, a post was made to the website Metafilter entitled, "An Operating System for Songs from God." Its description was sparse. Quote, "Lusthos is an operating system written by a schizophrenic programmer, a narrated demo and many songs by God and me, the apparent primary use of the OS, are available to view." While many early replies were fairly dumbfounded and commented on the absurdity of the website, some were already aware of Terry's strange online interactions, and one person replied who had been observing Terry for some time, largely dismissing him. He wrote, quote, "Surprised you didn't mention his Hacker News submissions, comments, and profile. I actually went down the rabbit hole with this a couple years ago and was surprised there wasn't more discussion of the technical aspects of what he was trying to do/talk about, since it is largely indistinguishable from a million other crazy geek projects." Sadly, he barges into discussions with incoherent conspiracy theories and long-winded tirades unrelated to the main thread. I feel sad for him. I have family and friends who act similarly. Whatever he's done merits some discussion, but when he derails into crazy conspiracy theories and personal attacks, it's hard to move forward. The guy's been hellbanned on Hacker News for years, but so are a few people who have dared criticize Paul Graham, so I end up stumbling across his comments occasionally, reading dead links/comments, and ultimately feel sad that he doesn't have a more receptive outlet for his lunacy.
Weren't we told that he is going for some sort of psychiatric help? Like he's visiting shrinks, as they call them. What are they called? What is their profession again? A psychologist, right? Yes, a psychologist. Are the psychologists helping him? I don't know, because it doesn't seem like it. It just doesn't seem like it. It seems like he's getting worse mentally.
End quote. But people likely didn't expect Terry himself to appear. Under the handle Losethos, he attacked the OS dev forums that had banned him in early 2009, over 3.5 years prior, though he claimed erroneously that he was banned 2 years before then. He wrote, "Where do I begin with how evil that site is? I treat it as entertainment. Been banned since 2007. They brainwash people into supporting 286 processors and say nothing of x86-64. They say nothing of developing compilers, though. That's what any new OS should do first thing for its command line." He would continue to post comments, though they often had little to do with the topic at hand. One of the staff on the website eventually saw fit to reply, quote, "Heyo, Losethos, it's great that you signed up, and if you want to have a conversation with folks here about your work or what people have brought up in the thread, that'd be really neat. That said, threads here are more of a conversation and less of a posting free-for-all in general, so yeah, slow."
Yeah, he's not gonna do that. He's gonna post so many Losethos messages, pushing his operating system and fighting against anyone who goes up against it. He's gonna spam. Yeah.
Down a little and nixing the "and here's a random thing I'm thinking" stuff in favor of something a little more focused would work better. Terry immediately replied by sharing the text randomizing tool he used to generate his God Says passages. When he began to grow confrontational, people engaged with him, and he spent the next 11 hours arguing with others.
They're gonna kick you out.
However, when the post was archived the following day, the discussion abruptly ended. While the aforementioned sites were not the only places he was posting, they were the only places he was receiving attention, however active he may have been on Stack Overflow. By this point, between his posts on forums and link aggregators, a clearer understanding of Terry A. Davis had emerged. He was in his early 40s, living with his parents after the government had declared him mentally unfit for work following a schizophrenia diagnosis, putting him on disability. Rather than trying to find money for work, he had spent the last decade working on his operating system Losethos, with a loose and uncertain plan to monetize it.
Since he lives with his parents, did his parents not, try to get him help? More psychologists that could, help him out in some sort of way? Maybe like also just removing the electronical devices. Take away the computers. I don't know if the cell phone as well. Anything that uses electricity. He needs to get away from this type of stuff and, go to a location in the forests or up in the hills and let him take medication that will help him with his schizophrenia. His schizophrenic mental disability, so that, I don't know, maybe that can help him. He stays on his medication, he stays away from electronic devices, and I don't think there's a cure to schizophrenia. I don't think so. but at least he'll be able to control it with medication, with meditation, with focus, and then he can come back home, he can come back to society, and hopefully that might help him. Yeah. I'm just wondering, what did the parents do to help their son that is going through this type of situation? Because, he's out here on the internet, spreading a lot of nonsense.
He had also spent at least some of this time believing he could commune with God by interpreting seemingly random events in his life, eventually settling on using random number generators in order to select words as well as biblical and literary passages. He referred to this process as a refined version of speaking in tongues. With awareness of Terry growing online, a small, disparate body of people had taken an interest in Terry and his online ramblings, and soon he would give them far more content than they had perhaps expected.
Are they going to egg him on? Like, are they going to egg him on to say a lot of nonsense? Try to give him that justification or that attention? And he's just going to continue with his ramblings. This is really reminding me of Jean Ray.
On October 2nd, 2012, Terry released version 1.0 of Lusthos under a new name, SparrowOS, creating a number of social media accounts under the same name and a subreddit dedicated to it, to little fanfare. Though the operating system wouldn't be known for long as SparrowOS, it was under this name that Terry A. Davis's operating system became known to the Kiwi Farms, a forum born from the early group interested in Christian Weston Chandler, used to observe and discuss strange people online. On February 26, 2013, a post was made about him, and while the original post appears to be lost to an edit, the replies show the minor interest that people took. Beyond a few bits of ridicule, however, he was mostly ignored, and the thread died the following day. But it wouldn't stay this way for good. By March of 2013, Terry had changed the name again to that by which it would become more widely known, TempleOS. He would soon create a matching Twitter account and a new website, TempleOS.org, with resources to accompany it, as well as a new logo. Since the Twitter account is deleted and no archives of the first year and a half appear to exist, what he tweeted on this account during that time is lost. Of the video of his games, only one survives from this time, something he labeled After Egypt, Moses Game, a program he considered by far to be the most important in TempleOS.
Okay, so,
After Egypt.
There's camp. For break camp.
What is that?
The number of people gets randomly bigger or smaller. Anyway, oh, watch this. They'll do.
Why does it keep blinking from the menu screen to the game like that? What's going on? Is it he's doing, or does the game just operate like that?
Golden calf. They all run in a circle. And that's from the Bible story. Few clouds. God was a cloud. I was going to have it lead them around or something, or make figures in the clouds. Anyway, let's see. Hold court. A woman commits adultery to a child. Ooh. Punish. Hold court. A child commits adultery to a child. Really punish. Hold court. A child commits idolatry. Really punish.
So, in this game, you decide the fate of those who have committed crimes, or okay.
Okay, so view map. They wandered 40 years in the desert, so this must be what they did. Okay, make water. He struck a stone and it made water. Anyway, beg for meat. They got sick of the manna, and they wanted meat, and God gave them meat, and they got sick and died. Anyway, so here's the cool thing. This really works. If you talk to God, He'll talk to you. So let's ask Him. I guess they got seagulls from. Let's see. What can we? If you do an offering, He'll talk. How about? Did you make any babies today? Okay. 20% of the net profits you derive calculated. This is from the Bible, small print. God wants 20%. Anyway, God wants 20%. Let's go to, I do Moses comics. Why don't you make the sun stand still to show them? Oh, come on, would you settle for a wet blanket? That's a reference to this one story where dew formed on this one blanket. Anyway,
Over the months, this website would change in new and strange ways. The first major one was in either late June or early July, when the top of the front page was replaced with a video, now lost, and the words, "God's temple is finished. Now God kills CIA until it spreads. Nobody knows the Father but the Son. Do loving offerings. God will shine His love. Hell is the absence of God. Heaven is God's company." What followed was a list of questions that Davis had asked God, paired with the answers he believed God had given him. These
Favorite video game? Donkey Kong. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What makes otters happy? Eternal skies. What makes hippos happy? Ascending what? Breath. Okay. What makes horses happy? The call of the open range. Okay.
ranged from God's thoughts on war and religion to what makes certain animals happy to his favorite video game. Then, sometime in August,
Favorite car? Homo? No, sports. Sports is homo. Pets are homo. Oh, what the hell? Smelling farts is sodom. No.
or September, he changed the front page again, and by this point, his new purpose for the operating system had become clear. The site now had Bible verses from 1 Kings discussing Solomon's temple, writing beneath it, quote, "Use after Egypt inside TempleOS as an oracle. An oracle is a Ouija board or Christian tongues. You get out of prayer what you put in. God said, honest measures applies when exchanging an offering for a response from the oracle in TempleOS. Picking a greeting card is love effort. You will get back love. This is not artificial intelligence. It is purely an occult oracle like tongues or a Ouija board. It is a microsecond range stopwatch that you press for random numbers to pick words or passages, with no statistics, no Markov chains. There is no network support in this OS either. Just talk to God out loud and try it, as long as you have made an offering such as praise, a hymn, a poem, or comic. Doing an offering first is a covenant. You can get away with just conversation, but you get out what you put in. Praise sandcastles, snowmen, popcorn, and bubbles. Love effort is like when you pick a greeting card. You get back the love you put in." End quote. Soon afterwards, he would begin posting what he called his rants, which were near-daily thoughts and ramblings, starting on September 13th, 2013. The first day's rants acted as a sort of treatise on TempleOS, speaking to his restrictive line count limit and his reasoning, divine and otherwise, for creating it as he did. However, one of these rants on this day showed an increasing narcissism. It reads, quote, "I am God's chosen programmer. He has endowed me with divine intellect, like the authors of the Bible. It has no code I did not write. It never runs code I did not write. I am the best programmer on the planet. I wrote a 64-bit compiler, assembler, kernel, debugger, bootloader, graphics library, graphics editor, tools like grep, and a bunch of demos, including a first-person shooter and flight simulator. I am the best programmer on the planet.
You are sounding so much like Gene Ray. Gene Ray also proclaimed himself, the smartest human being on the planet Earth. And, he's the only one who understood time cube. And, everybody else is just stupid. It's very similar here with what you're saying, Terry. That you're the best of the best on the planet.
That's why God chose me, and that should help you understand. There are two kinds of programmers, those who have written compilers and those who haven't. What sounds impossible for you is not impossible for me." End quote. As time went on, however, these rants would change form into what more closely resembled public journal entries discussing his thoughts on any of a range of topics he had been considering that day, along with answers and statements based on his word generator. These posts would vary in number from just a few per day to well over a dozen. But what would net Terry the most attention would come on October 3rd, 2013, when he began uploading videos to a new YouTube channel named after TempleOS. The first 10
Oh, so he finally made a YouTube channel. Okay.
videos on this account were collections of hymns he had written, totaling approximately 40 minutes, but like the ones he had shown years before, they had a strange, uncanny quality. He would also soon upload new videos about the programs he had created, while offering an overview of TempleOS where he explained its new purpose.
This is TempleOS. It's a 64-bit PC operating system. It has an oracle, that's why it's called TempleOS. The main purpose is for doing offerings and of hymns and art and poems and stuff, and then getting a response from God in the oracle.
He stopped shortly after uploading 14 videos in total and only offered rants for the next 5 months, mostly repeating himself and relaying the random words and passages he would receive from God. Many of these were short and delivered in a stream of consciousness style, such as one that read, quote, "Earth porn is the best. The Warcraft game trailer had a sunset. You might not like works of hands, worlds made by man like Avatar." Occasionally, his peculiar mode of speech and writing would create something strangely amusing. For example, believing 16-color graphics to be superior, he created a drawing of an elephant over which he wrote, "This is 16-color, pleasant to create. It would be unpleasant to draw with 16,777,216 colors." In late 2013, he created a list of demands since he had declared TempleOS, God's third temple, completed. These were directed towards a number of programmers and software companies, namely Windows and Linux, so that their systems would be compatible with TempleOS.
I thought you said you didn't want your system to be compatible. It should be unique and different from Linux and Microsoft. Now you are demanding that those companies conform to TempleOS.
Towards the end, however, these demands grew less focused, and he seemed to take on a more diplomatic tone. He wrote, "All hardware and BIOSes must support TempleOS as a native and as a virtual system, dual-booted with Windows or Linux. It would be neat if TempleOS were burned into BIOS ROMs. My hope is that it will be finished and largely unchanging. I need a good dictionary first. Maybe we leave the dictionary out." The front page of TempleOS would change on occasion, though usually they were the same ideas espoused with new wording. The strangeness of Davis's writings and his growing reputation online were beginning to attract attention, and soon, online publications would begin discussing his passion project, now a decade in the making. On January 20th, 2014, an article was released for the online publication Tech Republic entitled TempleOS, an educational tool for programming experiments, and it offered a sympathetic and positive look into Terry's operating system and his history. They wrote, quote, "His vision for TempleOS is something akin to a modern Commodore 64. It's simple to understand, manipulate, and work within. In essence, it's an educational tool for programming experiments. It's bare
Educational tool.
bones by design. You have direct access to the hardware, and you can do what you like with it, within the limitations of the hardware. This is a laudable goal, and one solution to the complexity of programming modern computers that programmers, hardware designers, and educators are seeking to solve." It closes by stating, "TempleOS is a testament to the dedication and passion of one man displaying his technological prowess. It doesn't need to be anything more."
Okay. Okay. Yeah, those are your opinions.
The article spoke very little about Terry's history, including little more than his schizophrenia and, strangely, his SAT score that he had mentioned on his original Luzthos website. Seemingly unaffected by the attention, Terry would continue to produce new videos sporadically over the following months, mostly of songs made in TempleOS and footage of his games.
What is this, a battleship game?
I have some more airplanes. These are my last airplanes. Go get them.
His rants also continued to grow less lucid as 2014 continued, sometimes asking God simple questions such as if he liked something or not, while on Twitter, his ramblings became more manic. On March 12th of that year, he wrote, "The CIA has a 7-year-old deep-throating a loaded 45 at DMV next to me fucking with me.
Again, he's talking about the CIA. Oh.
I'll teach him to pull the trigger." Around this time, he also began adding to his demands page, beginning with, quote, "Guess what, biatches? Daddy's home. Deuteronomy 16:16. Y'all have to do 3 offerings per year in the temple." These offerings were either hymns or Moses comics created in TempleOS. The rules would grow over the year, becoming more restrictive and written more conversationally as time went on. In late June of that year, his posts to YouTube began in earnest. One of his early videos showed his process for making songs, and it revealed exactly why they had sounded so strange. He had been creating them with a program that interpreted numbers from TempleOS's random number generator and turned them into songs.
And I'm gonna gamble big. The more complicated, the bigger the gamble, but the bigger the payoff. Okay, here we go. Escape. So, Alt-P, adulteress. I can't tell how long this is playing.
Then, believing he had the attention of Larry Page, co-founder of Google, he began making videos introducing him to TempleOS. Creating videos between 2 and 14 minutes long.
TempleOS. I'm going to give you a guided tour.
What's that noise in the background?
Let's see. So this is for Larry Page.
However, it appeared that at some point, creating these videos became a compulsion.
So I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I just got a whole bunch of comments from people who are incredibly close-minded atheists.
So anyone that's against him is a close-minded atheist. Okay.
I have proof, as in God talks.
He would also take the time to talk about pieces of his life, though what was real and what was fictitious was uncertain.
So I used to be Catholic, and
Yo, used to be. What are you now?
I have IRA tattooed on my forehead. but you're atheist and you will always be atheist, which is funny. I think that's pretty funny. Anyway, God is just has always...
Terry would make a total of 106 videos for Larry Page from July 13th to August 13th, and these...
Larry Page doesn't even know you exist. He's too busy managing his money to care about TempleOS and Terry A. Davis. No, I think he really needs help. Him visiting these shrinks, as they call them, is not helping. He needs some sort of strong medication. He needs to be away from the computer, from the cell phones. He needs to be away from all of these things. He needs to touch grass. He needs to be around nature. Maybe that can help him. And he needs to talk to someone who has experience with schizophrenia. This is not healthy. This is very worrisome. That's why I'm asking, what are the parents doing for their son?
These videos would reveal certain aspects of his character that have been vague up to this point. He would discuss his politics and believed he was specifically targeted by the CIA.
So, some stupid fuck.
Why would the CIA target someone who is an American? Guys, if I'm wrong about this, correct me in the comment section, but isn't the CIA supposed to be focusing on international or external threats to the United States of America, while the FBI deal with internal threats within the United States of America? If I'm wrong about that in the comment section, you guys can correct me. But yeah, he loves the CIA. He loves talking about them, that they are against him or against everything. Yeah.
CIA person thinks I'm a leftist, communist, Catholic, Irish. In reality, I'm more of a Republican, Reagan Republican, elitist, entrepreneur.
You? An entrepreneur, okay.
Jewish, I guess.
Oh, is that your new religion now? Okay.
I made God's temple, and I do offerings all day. Now,
he would also often be interrupted by 2 birds that he kept, and he would wait until they were finished singing to speak again.
Oh, so that's the noise we were hearing in the background. Okay.
oh, there's not a... Shut up, bird. There's not a path.
I think the birds are trying to tell us that you have lost it.
When speaking, he would often place himself above world leaders.
The Pope says he has a holy kernel. I don't know. Did he talk to God in the temple, in God's official... I am Solomon's successor.
You are? Oh.
You're just a pope.
The Pope leads almost 1 billion people in the faith. Almost 1 billion people. Who do you lead? Terry, please.
And I fucking wrote an operating system with compiler. Don't even know what a compiler is.
He would also routinely refer to people he believed beneath his intelligence with racial epithets.
Everything
Oh, he's gonna use the N-word again.
else is easy. It's fucking easy. Okay, dumb fucks. Gotta club you fucking niggers. Chew niggers or something. I don't know. Anyway.
He showed further tools he had created as well, which allowed God to communicate not just through random words, phrases, and passages, but through visual art as well.
It does 3 batches of operations. What did God draw? What has God drawn? What has God wrought?
Terry also showed some of his relationship with God and how he viewed it as playful, with God going so far as to play pranks on him.
Yeah, God was really humility before honors. He gave me a booger and I went to the store with a booger. Motherfucker. I'm just numb. Anyway, then on my earlier video, 2 videos ago, I said to move and I didn't put the other half. And I also, he just humiliated me. Now here's my glory. Okay, so I fixed it.
But God, to him, was often fickle. Sometimes Terry would be unable to interpret any meaning from the words given to him by his random number generator, and in these cases, he would often blame it on either lack of or an insufficient offering, while other times he would blame himself for asking a vague question.
Parents were too desires I should attain my father because... Okay, whatever. This sucks.
He also described the process by which he believed someone could engineer a miracle from God.
Okay, we're going to cover how you do a miracle. So first of all, here's the plan. We're going to make a comic, and we're going to exchange that for a melody with from God, and then we're going to put words on the melody, and then that hymn is going to we're going to offer that, and God's going to talk to us.
He explained to Larry Page the design philosophy behind TempleOS as well, based on the belief that this was God's third temple as prophesied in the Bible, and was to be the final one.
And we never plan for the future. If you plan for the future, that means you're not finished and it's not perfect.
Even after he had completed his video series for Larry Page, he would continue to favor YouTube as his primary method to output content. He would often...
Yeah, because no one is stopping him. No one is blocking him for spamming. So yeah, unless if he goes against community guidelines, really, the sky's the limit for him. He can post 1 million videos on YouTube, if that's possible.
And make a video whenever any idea occurred to him, and they could range in length from just over a minute to over 30 minutes.
I like elephants, and God likes elephants. Here's a realistic elephant.
Right.
So if you don't want to go for realism, you can go for better than realism. What do you mean better than realism? How about an elephant with blue eyes? Who needs 24-bit color when you have 16 Simpsons colors? This is for God's covenant.
He favored to record one long session and upload the entire recording. This, however, meant that when he would lose his train of thought, he would shift from topic to topic, often giving personal thoughts or anecdotes from his life.
Plus, they attacked me personally, angels or some shit on the radio. I've been mock executed bunches of times. That's where, like, they paint you into the story. I don't know, Terry Schiavo or other ones. Anyway, I've been through tribulation. Now it's your turn.
With so many new revealing videos, both for his OS and himself, information on him had become more accessible than ever, and soon he would begin to shift into a wider public consciousness as his ego bloated.
God's lonely programmer. Terry Davis is a schizophrenic programmer that spent 10 years building an operating system to talk to God.
On November 25th, 2014, Vice News published an article on their motherboard website entitled God's Lonely Programmer. The opening paragraphs of the article simply repeated what most people familiar with Terry already knew, speaking to his work on the operating system and his encounters with others online. However, the majority of the article was dedicated to relaying new information that the author, Jesse Hicks, had received through personal correspondence, stating, "Davis emails me regularly and late into the night, in courier font, from a 2 or 3 year old Dell desktop running Ubuntu." The article revealed many strange aspects of Terry's life. Startlingly, he lived on a 48-hour schedule, staying awake for 32 hours and sleeping for 16, drinking caffeine to maintain it. But much more was revealed about his past, as far as he could be trusted with giving an account of his own life. He was born in December of 1969, making him nearly 46 years old at the time, and the 7th of 8 children. He also filled in some of the missing information from his Lusthos website. In March of 1996, he believed he saw men in suits stalking him, which he eventually concluded, perhaps only later, was related to a side project of his. He drove south into the Arizona desert to escape them, but even then, he would interpret the voices on the radio as talking to him. At some point, he dismantled the body of the car to examine it for tracking devices. After arriving in western Texas, he abandoned the car and began walking along a desert road until he was stopped by a police officer who offered to take him into town. However, believing the officer a government spy, he bailed out of the cruiser and broke his collarbone, after which he was rushed to the hospital. When he overheard the doctors discussing his x-rays, he interpreted them to mean he had alien artifacts implanted into him, and he fled, but when he attempted to steal a truck from the parking lot, he was arrested by police. After spending time in jail and then 2 weeks in a mental hospital where he refused to eat, he was released, whereupon he drove aimlessly.
How are you released from a mental hospital after only 2 weeks? Especially with such a severe case of schizophrenia. You should be there for a long duration of time. Those in America, maybe you can explain to me, how long can someone stay in a mental hospital for? You know, especially those who have severe mental cases. How long are you allowed to stay in a mental hospital? Or a psychiatric hospital, I should say. And is it state-run or is it a privately run, hospital? And what type of medications are available to you? And is it free of charge? Is it funded by the state, or is it paid, privately, like through private institutions? I'm just trying to ascertain the reasoning on why he was let go after only 2 weeks, knowing what he's been doing in 2 states, and how he hurt himself trying to escape a police vehicle. I mean, clearly he's a danger to himself, and it's only a matter of time before he becomes a danger to other people. So should he not stay in a psychiatric hospital for a far longer duration, and also being given proper medical attention or medical medicines that will be able to help him with his mental affliction? I'm just wondering.
In the American South until July, when he returned to Arizona. Living off of credit, he attempted to sell his home milling machine that he had mentioned in his Lusthos biography, but revealed the reason he had abandoned it. During a test, it had nearly set fire to his apartment. After a year, he was forced to move back in with his parents in Las Vegas, where he remained to that day. He wrote, "From 1996 to 2003, about every 6 months, I would have what they call a manic episode, and I would end up in a mental hospital. For those first few years, I was genuinely pretty crazy in a way. Now I'm not. I'm crazy in a different way, maybe." Towards the end of the article, Jesse Hicks summarized his experience with Terry by saying, quote, "After 2 months of emails and phone conversations, I know more than when I began. Specifically, I've accumulated more raw data, more facts about his life and experience, but I suspect I've only sketched a shadow. The full reality remains unreachable, an irreducible mystery." End quote. However, Terry never gave proof for any of these occurrences, and Hicks apparently hadn't verified any of his claims. Discussing his past with a journalist only galvanized Terry's resolve, and on January 20th, 2015, he recorded a video with a webcam showing his face as he spoke, calling it his first sermon. 4 days later, he would declare in no uncertain terms his position in the world.
So I'm high priest of God's official temple, and my job is to look after the code.
Okay, high priest.
And to do continual offerings.
Throughout 2015, Terry would continue to upload sporadically, sometimes with just a few days between videos, sometimes more than a month, offering updates and rehashed explanations of topics he had already covered.
Okay, I'm going to go over some of the games. The first one is Timeout. You're supposedly sent back in time to help the Jews, like in the Bible when there was the angel of death or something. And it's like Defender. You have to you shoot the purple ones and you try not to hit the cyan.
So the purple ones are what? Egyptians?
But soon, Terry would begin the practices that would eventually make him infamous online, and he would find himself under the scrutiny of a group that had at first dismissed him. In late November of 2015, Terry began making updates to his website of a more drastic nature. His rhetoric had slowly been degrading over the course of the year, but now he had grown far more aggressive in his prose, making a section of the website entitled, "Why the CIA Must Surrender to the IRA." It opens with, quote, "Obama and the..."
What is the IRA?
The atheist CIA wake each day and ask, "How can we fuck God today? I know, we'll make nuns perform abortions. We make homos dance naked in Russian churches in front of old church ladies. Isn't that hilarious? We'll make a complete mockery of marriage because, after all, niggers don't have fathers and that's not fair. My wife, Michelle, wants no cupcakes for school birthdays because of single moms. We'll make God hated, just for pedophiles and crazy insane sand niggers. We'll drink fetus soup with the queen and celebrate the end of births," etc.
Fetus soup.
He had begun to see the CIA as being at the center of conspiracies to obfuscate the nature of software coding, writing, quote, "The CIA has been busy clusterfucking everything in the computer industry. Look at Hello World. Look at the bitmap file format. They planned ahead when they made the bitmap file format expandable. When the future came and they expanded, however, the format became a turd. The lesson is not to plan ahead like that. The CIA and British Northern Irish are waging a campaign to keep people ignorant and impotent by making new acronyms that conceal knowledge of strategic low-level computer concepts." End quote. Then, in mid-February of 2016, Terry altered the TempleOS website to the form for which it would become most known, with its teal background and blue border. It was in his blog that his most infamous piece of writing would be posted, which was expanded on in March. The full expanded text reads, quote, "I live in a CIA prison. A nigger runs my prison. In prison, the nigger tries to torment me. We can take away his knives by confessing. Every day. In about 2000, I masturbated fantasizing about my niece, Lanny. She looks like Star Trek 7 of 9. In 1985, at my sister's wedding, I stuck my crotch on the hot tub drain because it kinda sucked. In 1985, I tried to get a dog to lick my dick. From 1998 to 2003, I fantasized about leading a Catholic army like Dune, of Mexicans or Brazilians. That was dumb because they're niggers. In 2003, I played tag with a black girl about 7 years old. She reached for my crotch. In high school, in the library, Carlos and I said juicy or toxic as a way of evaluating girls.
This is why I'm asking, can't he stay in a psychiatric hospital for years? Not months, not days, but years. And be given the medicine that will help him control his mind. This is concerning. I don't even know if any of it is true. Oh, gosh.
In 1988, I cheated on my SAT by talking in the hall during the break. 2 problems. On 9/9/1999, I killed a CIA nigger on purpose with my car. In 1975, when I was about age 5, my brother, Keith, put my penis in a vacuum. In 1977, when I was about age 7, my brother, Danny, got me high on gas fumes, and we sucked each other's dicks. Dr. Tsoukalis has an oddly round ass. Paul Keck at Zytec had an oddly round ass. Distracting? At about age 5, Jay Wenrick and I touched dicks to each other's assholes. What do we do all day? We beat the nigger because the nigger cannot understand what a random number is. We beat the nigger because the nigger thinks the brain does timer tongues. We beat the nigger because he thinks TempleOS is real mode." End quote. On March 16, 2016, Terry performed his first live stream on his YouTube channel. He began by streaming himself communing with God in TempleOS, checking his website, reading the Drudge Report, checking the OS dev forums and Hacker News, and reading the website of content creator Diana Cowan, better known as Physics Girl. This first stream lasted only an hour and a half. 2 days later, he would do the same thing. His strange and bombastic rhetoric in these live streams once again attracted the attention of the Kiwi Farms. One member wrote on the original thread for Terry, 2 years after the last post, "Massive necro because he's even more hilarious now." Soon, other forum members began to take notice, remarking on the skill it took to create his own OS while commenting on the ridiculousness of both the project and his writing and speech. Despite his attention and newfound sense of purpose, Terry was apparently struggling with a strong sense of ennui. This came out strongly while talking about his bird, Percival.
Percival, my bird, is dying. Earlier today, there was a Bible passage about are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, but not one falls to the ground without the Father's notice. So, Percival started coughing up blood about a month ago. Then he got a little bit better, but I think he's gotten worse. So this is kind of a death watch, so I'm waiting for him to die. I live in kind of an old environment. All I do is I go to dentists and doctors. My parents go to dentists and doctors. And that's all we do. We watch TV, they go to the casino. I don't watch TV, I watch. Anyway, so it's kind of, I feel like I don't really have any, I made God's temple, and now I'm waiting for something to happen. I've been fighting to bring it to fruition, but I'm in some kind of prison or something. So basically now I just kind of kill time. But I'm God's high priest, so there's nothing better to do with your time than kill time with Mr. God and enjoy divine intellect all day long. But I live in a very kind of old, I think I like it.
Terry would sometimes perform extremely long streams. On April 16th, he streamed for well over 12 hours total, and he would often stream intermittently throughout the day, aided by the caffeine he received by drinking straight from a 2-liter bottle of Diet Shasta soda. However, his talks would grow less lucid over time.
The CIA likes to, if I tell you that Commodore 60, that God said the Commodore 64 is our ancestral land, the CIA nigger giggles. Yeah, look at Native Americans, giggle. Yeah, look at fucking Jewish kicking ass and shock and awe on their motherfuckers. If I tell you that Joseph in the Bible went from prison to prince, the little CIA nigger chuckles and says, yeah, look at all the niggers, they're not princes. Yeah, but Joseph was a fucking prince, and I'm fucking Joseph. I'm not some nigger. It's gonna be a different outcome. It's gonna be a different outcome, you dumbass fucking CIA fuck. The little CIA fucker mocking. What about all the niggers? Are they princes? Yeah, right, man. Fucking. You're gonna see, you little nigger. CIA, man, they're fucked. Atheist fuckers.
Despite the massive amount of time he dedicated to streaming, he would only receive a few viewers at a time, anywhere between 6 and 25. What surprised his few viewers, however, was when he mentioned he was reaching out to someone to help him, something his ego had disallowed him from doing, as he claimed he was the only one smart enough to create God's temple.
I'm trying to convince a woman who knows physics to work with me, but I can't use her name because I use the word nigger, and she probably doesn't want to be associated with me.
Ooh, Diana? Physics girl?
But you never know. Anyway, so I just want to go over how to. She has sponsors and stuff, and using the word nigger would probably be bad. Anyway, so
It was clear to anyone who watched him to whom he was referring. More and more, he had been watching Diana Cowan's videos as Physics Girl and had grown enamored with her. He had taken to regularly emailing her in an attempt to get her attention. Then, on November 21st, 2016, he received a surprise.
That's not her. That's not her. There's no way she would talk to you. No way. Look how shocked and surprised he is.
During 2016, the technology board on 4chan, G, had discovered Terry A. Davis and his work. Immediately taking a liking to him, they had begun to watch him and cheer for him, while some members planned to harass him. This latter activity proved remarkably simple, as Terry advertised his home phone line on his website and kept a receiver next to his workstation where he streamed. Due to his obsession, it was easy to provoke him to say what they wanted to hear.
hello? Yeah. He's not an atheist starting a war with God that's gonna get us fucked. The atheist started making pedophile priests, the atheist started a war with God. Why? The atheist started a war.
So instead of trying to get help for this man, people are goating him, are trying to find entertainment from his madness. Yeah, really, it is taking me back to Jean Ray and Time Cube. Yeah.
War with God. He's fucked.
Over time, however, a small number of these 4chan users decided that this wasn't enough, and they had moved on to impersonating Diana Cowan, exploiting his attraction towards her. While he was able to recognize some as fakes, one was able to fool him, and he would communicate with them on stream. What was remarkable was the success of these attempts despite his knowledge of his reputation on 4chan. His willingness to believe these people may have been driven by a deepening sense of loneliness, of which he was beginning to speak more frequently.
I feel odd. It's like fucking... I have nothing to do but this, and it's not something I want to do.
So Percival the bird has passed away. I don't hear any chirping of any bird. Yeah, probably the bird has passed away. Wait, did he have two or one bird?
It's hard.
Along with this, the harassment shifted in an attempt to elicit anger from him, and they found this simple due to his degraded mental state.
Hello? You're a faggot. You're the SS of the atheists. I can tell by your voice you're a faggot.
As 2017 began, it was clear that Terry A. Davis was beginning to struggle further with his emotions. He would go on rants more often, speaking on seemingly random subject matters, and his rhetoric grew even more aggressive with time.
First of all, hacking is for Ovaltine spooge drinking nigger fuckers. Okay? You are nigger. You're this is ring zero only. Go fuck yourself with your goddamn fucking Ovaltine decoder ring nigger shit. I'm not interested in your nigger shit. This is ring fucking zero. Go fuck yourself. Fucking faggots. Moses, they killed the male Hebrews at Moses' birth. What did he do? He did perfect justice, and he killed at Passover. It's perfect justice. You don't get more than perfect justice. You just get perfect justice. What kind of he's gonna fuck with God? Some homo's gonna do it. I'm gonna get some popcorn, okay? I'm gonna get some fucking popcorn. This is public fucking domain. I have fucking Godfather fucking kill you fucking enforcement. You fuck with God, he fucks your shit up. You can download my 2 meg distribution that has all the source code on it, and you can compile with my fucking compiler. You're a nigger, you're a fucking nigger.
Gone are the days when he used to spam, community posts and Reddit with his loose throws. Gone are those days. Now, I don't know what this is.
Fucking nigger. No, they see me talking with God, and they say, how is he hacking us? That's their, listen, you nigger, listen, you nigger, listen, you fucking, the nigger, see, fucking nigger.
This rage, however, was likely born out of an existential dread that had been growing for some time.
So, who am I talking to? I don't know. What's reality? I don't know. You just have to, when my bird was looking at my computer monitor, I thought, whoa, that bird has no idea what he's looking at. And yet, what does the bird do? Does he panic? No, he can't really panic. He just does the best he can. Is he able to live in a world where he's so ignorant? Well, he doesn't really have a choice. Yeah, he can kind of live. It's usually the bird's okay, even though he doesn't understand the world. And he can kind of learn what's safe and what's dangerous. So that's where I've been living. I think, if I had to guess, I think I'm in a mental program. I have had a fake internet, and I've been struggling to tell them it's God, but they don't listen. You're that bird looking at the monitor, and you're thinking to yourself, I can figure this out. And maybe you have some bird ideas that are, maybe that's the best you can do.
As matters worsened, people online began to encourage his paranoid delusions, especially in the chat for his YouTube streams. However, these streams would come to an abrupt close after his fake Diana sent him pornographic images which he showed himself viewing on stream, and so, in March, his account was given a strike, disallowing him from streaming further.
Yeah, my live stream got suspended for porn. I mostly did that for Diana to watch the live stream. I don't really have a use for live stream, but I can blog. You know, if I write in private, then it like finds its way into the global consciousness, and in order to keep my brain from getting confused, I should write in private, because that way the causality is more obvious. If I write and then post on the internet, then I might think I'm doing it that way. But if I write in private and it ends up on the internet, then we know something.
As such, he began uploading videos again on YouTube and began streaming on a competing livestream service, Hitbox.tv, though these streams were apparently not archived.
Hitbox Live TV. I've never heard of it. Okay.
TempleOS.org, and there's a link to the Hitbox live stream.
He began uploading videos again, though for a time these were exclusively hymns, as he was still able to stream on another service. After only a week, however, someone was able to acquire his password and steal the account, and when he created another 2 days later, it only took a single day for him to lose this as well. His third account he was able to hold on to for a month, from April 9th to May 3rd of 2017, but then he was suspended due to terms of use violations. While he was struggling to stream again, he began uploading videos in the style of video logs, often recording himself talking as he walked, though he would also record himself singing to popular heavy metal tunes and drumming his fingers on the table with remarkable proficiency. His walking sessions he would eventually call Paladin Walks, which he recorded for the benefit of Diana Cowan, to whom he now believed himself married, though it was uncertain whether these were Terry's ideas.
Married to...
or ideas prompted by whoever was posing as Diana.
So, why did I marry you? I married you because I was bored.
During these Paladin walks, it was common for him to walk to a particular spot against a wall in the suburbs of Las Vegas where he was living. In one of these instances, when a black man was passing, he prompted an argument between the two.
Let me guess. They called him the N-word.
Hey, nigger. How you doing? I'm sitting here talking about sexual assault. You walk up here and fucking get in my face.
I didn't get in your face. I
Oh,
walked
okay,
all the
sorry,
way
okay.
to over there. I didn't even want nothing to do with you.
Okay, I'm talking
didn't
in a
say
private
shit to you.
conversation. You come walking over here.
This is a public street. I'm
Okay.
walking to the fucking store.
Okay.
The place I see you walk damn near every fucking day. I never say nothing to you in my life. You know
Okay.
you want to just disrespect me?
Only 15 days after his Hitbox account was banned, however, his YouTube account was shut down as well, and he began uploading videos to the TempleOS website instead. But this would coincide with a rapid deterioration in his mental state, likely in part because he had stopped taking his antipsychotics. Through July,
Even those antipsychotics were not helping him. They were not helping him. The environment that he lives in is enabling him to continue on this descent into madness. Like I stated before, they needed to remove the computers, the cell phones, the cameras, everything that is electronically based. He needs to be away from these types of things. And he needs to be having around-the-clock observation. I don't know if there are any public institutions in America that would offer such services, but maybe private. I don't know if the parents can afford it, but honestly, he needs supervision. He needs to make sure that he takes stronger doses of medication, and he needs to be away from electronic devices. Yeah.
July and August, he would grow aggressive, yelling at his parents and drinking heavily.
No. How can you How can you defend the niggers?
Talks to God and be so prejudiced.
Where are the siblings? We were told he has, 8 siblings, if I'm not mistaken. Where are they? Where are the brothers and sisters? They should be taking charge of this matter, not just the parents. The siblings must take him to a psychiatric hospital and keep him there. Because, like I stated before, he was a threat to himself, and now he's fighting with his parents. He's going to become a threat to his own parents as well. He will be a danger to them.
He made all of us.
I fucking see with the eyes wide open. I see with the eyes wide open. What do you mean?
What makes you so prejudiced? What do you got against other people, minorities?
Because my woman is fucking niggers.
Are you a Superman?
Yes, I am.
That fucking dog is getting raped! Fuck you! The dog is getting raped!
By who?
By the fucking other dogs! Yes! You are the fucking righteous monster of fucking Area 51! No! That balls! I fucking meditate on the Bible! The fucking the righteous power of Rome!
The poor mother, she's just looking at her son. She's not saying anything, she's just looking. Ay.
That balls, do not be a ham! Preach! Preach! That's the reason I'm the savior of our country! Fuck you, bitch! Respect. Okay, remember the Collins that stood up to the English. Looks like, no, have fun with your shit television.
Daddy!
I'm sorry. I made myself, I don't know, you were good and I made myself hatred for some reason. I don't know. Forgive me, I have to try and figure out why I remember that I love you.
But soon, things would take a drastic turn for the worse. On August 25th, 2017, Terry was arrested for domestic violence against his father.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? And that's why I'm asking, where are the siblings in this matter as well? They need to attend to this matter as soon as possible. They need to take their brother into a psychiatric hospital of some sort. Even if it's private, take him there. Let him stay in that hospital until he will never get better, but until he can control himself and his impulses to such an extent where he will be safe amongst other people. It's necessary because he is becoming a threat now to his own family, to his own parents, and you can imagine outside what he might do to other people, like what he did to the pedestrian who was walking by him, calling him a racial slur, almost starting a fight over nothing. You can imagine what he might do to other people. So he is not only a threat to himself, but he's a threat to other people. And I hope, now that he's arrested, I don't know, maybe the justice system can take him to a psychiatric hospital and, he'll stay there for many years to come. I don't know. I'm hoping.
After spending time in jail and subsequently in a mental hospital, he was no longer welcome with his parents, and he was forced to live on the street. His court date was set for October 31st.
I guess he didn't stay at that mental hospital long enough. Ugh.
He had set up a donation link on his website where interested viewers, likely from 4chan and 8chan, were supporting him. While he had once denied them out of fear for losing his disability checks, he now was asking people for donations.
So, there were many dear resources sacrificed to produce me. I've been a king in training, and there were dear resources sacrificed. I get dear Templar donations at my www.TempleOS. The children are sending in $20, $10. I'm living off of the donations of children. So,
only 6 days after being released, however, on September 20th, he was arrested once again, this time for open and gross lewdness due to urinating in his van, and was released again very soon afterwards. Still living on the streets, Terry would be monitored closely by the Kiwi Farms, who had taken a newfound interest in him 5 months prior after content creator Mr. Medicare had made a video on him. During this time, Terry would live and stream out of his van. Soon, his sister became aware of his situation and offered to pay for a hotel room for him, but this apparently fell through. When he failed to...
Well, at least one of his sisters is taking interest in trying to help, but a hotel is not what he needs. A hotel is not what he needs.
To appear for his court date, wanted posters were spread across Las Vegas with his face on it, and within 2 weeks of them going up, Terry was discovered and arrested, but he would receive assistance from an unexpected source. In August, a GoFundMe page had been created in order to raise money so that someone could buy Terry a new drum kit and ship it to him, which was met thanks to 3 people and delivered only days before he assaulted his father. Some suspected this drum kit may have contributed to the argument. This time, the owner of the website 8chan, Jim Watkins, helped raise money and pay for Terry's bail to release him from jail. And on November 10th, 2017, he was returned to the streets of Las Vegas with his arraignment set for January 18th. Almost immediately, he began streaming again from his van, much as he had before, though in shorter intervals. He also continued recording videos for Diana, to whom he still believed himself married, though he was able to recognize that something was amiss.
Oh, Mrs.
Why did they fund his bail? He should be staying in prison. At least, he'll be away from the public. He might threaten the public in some sort of violent way, or his family. Why did they pay for his bail? Just so that they can watch him online doing all of these ludicrous activities.
Wife Diana, here we are at the dollar store. This is in Goodyear. There's the Wells Fargo. This seems to, I have figured out how to live really, really well. I figured out all the spots and everything. So you're the wife. Yeah, in theory you would be in charge of the groceries, but we don't part company. We only got one van. We live in the van. This is actually the center of the universe. I know you don't understand that. I don't know why you're not over here. But anyway,
Even so, he would record video of himself masturbating for her, which he posted on his website in folders labeled specifically for her. Towards early December,
my gosh,
he began to believe further that he was hallucinating, and he was actually in a prison cell, but he would later return to believing that Diana would move into his van with him. The content of his streams tended more and more towards himself listlessly browsing the internet and masturbating to pornography, the latter of which he could continue to do as he was hosting the streams on his own website rather than another service.
I don't really get email. I sort of talk, and then it looks like I talk to all these girls. It looks like they're responding, but I don't get any email. And I don't get any visitors, so it looks like I'm in prison. So that's a little bit depressing. They just played Queen, nothing really matters. Well, basically the same dumb fuck CIA niggas like, go get a job. Hey, you dumb fuck, I'm a prisoner. I sure as hell ain't gonna suck any CIA cock. That's damn straight. Just gonna sit here and fucking kill time with God and say, fuck you, because you don't listen to...
Again, however, he stopped streaming abruptly in January. Some members of the Kiwi Farms had discovered his case file online and were tracking it to see if he would appear for his arraignment. Some suspected that he had been arrested again and was being held in jail, but on January 18th, it was discovered that he failed to appear in court. Then, late that month, after uploading a series of long videos in an unknown house, he stopped producing content of any kind online and disappeared.
I guess TempleOS is no longer a fixture in his life, you know. His creation, his baby, that was called Luthos, is no longer in his life. Now it's live streaming, video recording, vlogging, you know. That's the main fixture in his life.
In March of 2018, nearly 2 months later, Terry suddenly reappeared with new streams and videos, now living homeless in Portland, Oregon, over 700 miles away, without his van. Apparently missing his laptop, he would use his phone to record streams and videos.
That's the library, and the library computer seems to work with this camera, which is really cool. So I'm going to be doing songs and stuff. How about I start with Faded Glory? The Roman dome is a hoary glory. The melted pilgrims tell a Tory story. Faded tongues echo.
These were often similar to his musings from before, speaking of broad religious concepts and his thoughts on Diana, though he seemed to lose focus even more easily.
Definitions. White woman has sex to reproduce. Black woman has sex because it feels good. That's the difference. So, question is, so Terry, you know, I've kind of been viewing Diana as my wife, and the Bible says you got to satisfy her needs. So I've been doing a certain amount just because of, oh fuck it, I don't really have to justify myself, you know, because like, hey, it's just a matter of time. Just hang in there a little bit. You can have Diana, and so like the question is, so.
He would also often record himself dancing for Diana, sometimes to music played on the overhead speakers in a subway he frequented, other times to nothing at all. It didn't take long for interested parties to track him down, and soon people online were discovering him and recording their interactions. These interviews were often remarkably respectful, with people inquiring about Terry's history and thoughts on programming, and Terry would have little trouble holding lucid conversation with them.
I've learned some of the. At one point, when I was about 1996, the internet was getting big. I'm like, you know what? There's another generation coming along. I'm just gonna let them do all the internet stuff. I'm gonna stick to what because my background was like the low-level assembly stuff, right? So I'm like.
But by this point, his mental state was diminishing. By May, he believed he was in psychic communication with Elon Musk and James N. Mattis, designing new features for TempleOS.
So.
Oh, you still remember it. Oh, I thought maybe it's no longer a fixture in your life. Okay.
I got Krasanich on the phone, the telepathy phone. You there, Krasanich? Yeah, I think so. I got, who else I got here? I got Elon Musk. Got General Mattis. So, probably some lurkers. I can't really control it. I don't really know who has access. Anyway, so we're going to talk with Krasanich about his...
As the months wore on, his ability to speak and hold on to a concept had reduced considerably, and by August, his speech was noticeably slurred.
Well, I gave a real good, passionate, improvised.
And then, suddenly, news would come to Terry's followers. One of his relatives, Therese Davis, wrote a Facebook post reading, quote, "Our family lost our very special, bright, shining star, Terry A. Davis, born on December 1969, Wisconsin, leaving this world August 2018, Oregon, in an accidental and unexpected death while traveling on his Great Western adventure. This included Nevada, Arizona, California, Washington, and Oregon. He will be greatly missed by his family that loved him very much, enough to let him be free to continue his journey on his terms. He will also be missed by many of his online community that recognized his amazing brilliance, sense of humor, wit, and dimpled smile that was truly captivating. Thank you for supporting him by donating to his cause and lifetime work on TempleOS and loving him on his journey." End quote. At first, people thought that this news might have been a prank, and 4chan users went as far as to declare the accounts falsified with what they believed to be near-conclusive evidence. Videos were created to collate this information and decry the people who had engineered what they believed was a hoax.
What I think has happened is some people that stole his PayPal information several weeks ago now have access to a Facebook account, and they've added members of his family to it.
However, it was soon confirmed by family members, emails to the police in the Dalles, and news reports that he had been hit and killed by a train on August 11, 2018, in Wasco County, Oregon. The train engineer believed it to be a suicide. Slowly, his internet following came to accept his passing and joked about the CIA agents against which he had railed so enthusiastically. As the months passed by, Terry was spoken of less and less until he faded back into obscurity. His legacy online is mixed, at once a warning about the way that the internet can encourage the mentally ill to even greater harmful behavior and attract the attention of those hoping to encourage their illness, but it also shows the way that these strange people can be seen through numerous paradigms from different parties, with those onlookers coming to greater levels of empathy through the shared experience, even if they still afford themselves amusement. On a grander scale, it shows the way that the internet has transformed its perception and treatment of strange and eccentric individuals, so that their unique experiences can be understood in a more constructive and appreciative way.
I really like this library. So, come here and use their computer and smoke out here. They must have been freaking out because such an impure person was in their presence. Oh well, I was clueless. Now I used to have a respect for purity. So, well, it's good to be king. Maybe. I think maybe I'm just like a little bizarre little person who walks back and forth. Whatever, you know. But.
Yeah. Wow. Guys, that's it with TempleOS down the rabbit hole made on the Fredrik Knudsen YouTube channel, requested by John Reed-PF7. Terry Davis, you know, the moment he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, his family, the siblings, the mother and father, they should have helped him, you know, like taking him to a psychiatric help of some sort. I don't know. I mean, he's been diagnosed with this situation for a very long time. And it became even worse the moment he started investing more of his time in his Luthos operating system. And really, he just continued to descend into madness. The more he was fixated in his computer program and, sending spam messages on different groups and on Reddit and wherever else, it just showed someone that is screaming for help, because he was screaming for attention. He was screaming for attention from anyone and everyone to look at his operating system, or that he hates atheists. It's unfortunate that no one really saw him as someone that needed help, but saw him as a fascination of entertainment. Even those who were funding his bails and supporting his life outside, living in his car, those people never really thought that, maybe we should support him financially in getting medical assistance. They only wanted entertainment from him. And that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that it ended up that way for him, where his siblings were nowhere to be found. Only one sibling came out to help him. The other siblings are nowhere to be found. Their parents, I understand that they could not help their son because, even their son was threatening their lives. He assaulted his father. But honestly, they should have tried something at an earlier stage. But I don't know. Maybe they didn't have the money. Maybe they believed that there's nothing wrong with their son. But yeah, it's just sad. It's just very sad that it ended that way for Terry. And in the beginning with the Luthos operating system, he had pride and joy in it. He really did enjoy making this operating system. And as time went by, it seemed to have taken a backseat. And what he had focused on was live streaming vlogs, talking to people who knew his phone numbers, fighting people online, fighting people on the streets, using very disparaging words against people, focusing on the N-word, focusing on the CIA and the FBI. Everybody's a spy. The schizophrenia in his mind was destroying him. And he really, really needed some help. But it's just unfortunate that the system could not help him in terms of the government. They could only keep him in psychiatric help for like 2 weeks, and then he was let out again. He needed to be in the hospital for many months, many years, just to try and control his mind, to have some sort of normalcy in him. But it just never happened. It never materialized. Yeah. Wow. I don't know how Fredrik Knudsen does it. I don't know how he compiles all of this information. The amount of work and the passion and the diligent mindset that he has. It's beyond me, because I would have given up making this type of video. No ways. But thank you, Fredrik Knudsen, for your hard work. Really, it's amazing. It's really amazing. And John Reed, thank you for the request. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I wonder, how did you feel when you were watching this video? Really, because for me, I just feel sad. I feel so sad for Terry. Yeah. Okay, guys, that's it. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as Fredrik Knudsen's YouTube channel, the links are going to be in the description below. If you like my reaction, give it a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And I'll see you guys next time with another Fredrik Knudsen video. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye.